COTV in Minneapolis has learned one of the restrictions will include closing bars and restaurants by 10 p.m., as well as restrictions on weddings and other group gatherings. Governor Tim Walz plans to announce some targeted restrictions later today to help stop the spread of COVID-19 as the state sees a surge in cases. He made it clear yesterday that strong restrictions will be aimed at places and events frequented by younger people, 18 to 35-year-olds, who he says are a major source of the spread. Now, Valley News Live will stream that Walz news conference. It'll be live this afternoon at 2 online at valleynewslive.com and also on TV on KVLY. News of the imminent restrictions comes as Walz announced that the state would be adding more than a dozen free COVID-19 testing sites over the next 2 weeks. Plus, the governor is calling a special legislative session on Thursday to extend his peacetime emergency powers. The expected announcement comes from the governor just days after reports of record COVID-19 cases in Minnesota. The Valley Today's Brian Sherrod joins us live this morning with just how many cases we're talking about and where people can go if they want to test. Good morning, Brian.
And good morning, Lisa. When it comes to where people can go, right now I'm outside of the former Thomas Edison Elementary School, and that's just one place you can do a saliva community testing place. You know, that's just, like I said, one that you can check out. And letting you know when it comes to increases in these cases in Minnesota, this is hospitalizations, this is overall positive cases, this is even deaths. So let's go ahead and get started and let you know what these numbers are. Now, this is put out by the Minnesota Department of Health. This chart is the new cases by week. And each week, more are reported with the highest numbers coming in for the last week of October. Numbers for the first week in November aren't officially finalized yet. Here's where Minnesota stands right now. The state is reporting 3,762 new cases of COVID-19. 19 more death reports were filed just yesterday for the virus. Nearly 3,000 Minnesotans have been admitted to the ICU for disease since the outbreak has started. Now, when I mentioned the former Thomas Edison Elementary School being a testing center, today, Mondays, and on Fridays, you can go from 12 to 7, and on Saturdays and Sundays, you can go from 10 to 4. Also letting you know, every day during the noon show, we update the COVID-19 numbers, so make sure you watch the noon show for that, or the beginning of your newscast as well. We'll have the bottom screen to let you know the numbers as well. Like Lisa just mentioned, you can also check out the governor's speech and live stream at 2. That will be on our Facebook page, and that will also be on KVLY.
We will have a crew monitoring and once again get that information pushed out as soon as possible. Thank you, Brian. There's new information on the Grand Forks mask mandate. Officials are working on a plan to add penalties to the order that was issued late last month. County Health Officer Dr. Joel Walz tells Valley News Live that the move could be proposed within the next few days. He says it's not up to him to decide on the penalty, but does say it has been discussed. The mayor of Grand Forks also issued an emergency order last week, modifying hours of bars and restaurants to help slow the spread of COVID-19. President-elect Joe Biden is moving ahead with plans to fight the coronavirus pandemic, making good on a key campaign promise. He announced a 13-member COVID-19 advisory council, which includes prominent members of science and public health. Among them is Dr. Michael Osterholm, the director of the Center for Infectious Disease Research at the University of Minnesota. The panel will help the president-elect develop a plan of attack to combat the pandemic as soon as he's sworn into office. Pharmaceutical giant Pfizer says its COVID-19 vaccine must be proven both safe and effective before it can get government approval for distribution. We first told you yesterday about the results of a large-scale human trial that shows the vaccine to be more than 90% effective. The interim phase 3 trial found no serious safety concerns. Pfizer says it will not apply for emergency use authorization until it has 2 months of safety data. That will likely not come until the 3rd week of this month. It is a very cold start to our day, just like Lisa forecast. Let's check in to see what we can expect for the rest of the day.
Good morning. Yeah, we're looking at some cold out there. As you step out the door, you're really going to feel it this morning. Looking off to the east, you can see that pretty sunrise starting up for us from our camera in Fargo at the station. Looking, those headlights there, that's I-94, folks heading westbound into North Dakota from Moorhead. And you can see the cloud deck there off to the east. That's where we'll be seeing more clouds today. A lot of us will get to enjoy clear skies, though. Here's a look at our temperatures. We won't enjoy those if you don't like the cold. This is going to be kind of tough to take today. We're at 14 degrees in Fargo, 13 in Grand Forks. It's only 11 in Devil's Lake, with most places reporting clear skies. The wind is very light, but we do have enough. 5 to 10 miles per hour can make it feel chillier, and we do have wind chills in the negative range. Langdon is at 3 below, and at Valley City at 2 below for your wind chill. It feels like 4 in Fargo and a wind chill of 2 in Grand Forks. So it's a cold start again. Radar, satellite map. We've been talking about this morning. Most of us get to be on the quiet side today and get to enjoy some sunshine. You can see those clouds off to the east, but it's that area of snow down into South Dakota. You see which way it's moving. It's kind of lifting to the northeast. I'm going to watch that to potentially impact some of our southeastern viewing area, bringing maybe a little light coating of snow to that area today. Let's take a quick look at the tropics. We still have some tropical storms out there. This one is Ada. You can see it spinning there off the tip of Cuba. It's right now forecast to move northward into further into the Gulf and then potentially impact the panhandle of Florida. But this forecast keeps changing as the storm continues to drift. A look at your bus stop forecast. We're going to be chilly this morning, and this afternoon we do see those temperatures climb, but it's still going to be a cold day. We're talking upper 20s to some 30s, so the kids will want to bundle up here throughout the day today. And we keep that cooler weather around now. Looks like it's here to stay. 30s to some 40s for your highs coming up this week, with another chance for a little bit of snow up along the northern valley for tomorrow for your Veterans Day.
Thank you, Lisa. A judge set bail at $1.5 million for a Fargo man accused of shooting 2 Wisconsin police officers. 23-year-old Nathaniel Benton is now charged with 2 counts of attempted first-degree intentional homicide and possession of a firearm by a felon. Benton was also wanted for attempted murder by Fargo police for a downtown shooting a few days before that Wisconsin incident. The 2 Wisconsin officers were shot in the town of Delafield last Friday morning as they responded to a hit-and-run crash. They each suffered serious but non-life-threatening injuries. The shooting set off a 9-hour manhunt for Benton. If convicted of all charges, Benton could face more than 140 years in prison. The search continues for a hunter who's been missing since Sunday morning in Becker County. 58-year-old Paul Sandstrom went missing near Bad Medicine Lake off of Highway 113, where he has a deer blind. But when family went to pick him up for a planned lunch outing, he was gone. Officials say he was last seen wearing orange and black hunting gear, saying he had food and survival equipment. Search crews have been conducting grid searches. The only lead they have so far is hunters in the area saying they may have seen him walking.
He's hunted this area where his stand is. He's been there for 20 plus years, 20, 30 years. So to hear that he's lost, something's wrong.
Authorities plan to take to the air today and say they'll exhaust all resources until he's found. People in the area are being asked to keep an eye out for Sandstrom. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Becker County Sheriff's Office. The entire state of North Dakota is now in the high-risk category for COVID-19. Governor Doug Burgum announced the move yesterday afternoon as he called for stepped-up measures to deal with the increasing pressure on the state's hospitals. Burgum says staffing continues to be a big problem, and the state's major hospitals have agreed to move staff around depending on need. The state has agreed to let people working in healthcare with COVID-19 who are asymptomatic continue working in COVID units. The governor says it took the state 7 months to reach 5,000 active cases of COVID, but just 3 weeks to double that number. The building that used to house Fargo's police department is now the Engagement Center, and it's home to the emergency COVID-19 quarantine and isolation program. It provides emergency isolation and quarantine shelter for single men and women who don't have permanent housing and are unable to access other shelter facilities. The center also houses the mobile outreach program, which provides even more assistance. The Engagement Center is operated 24 hours a day. It's located at 222 4th Street North. Moorhead schools will be giving out free meals to adults, along with student meals, starting today. The meals will also be delivered to several low-income or senior living centers who do not give meals to their residents. Funding for this comes through a grant from the CARES Act through the state of Minnesota.
The coronavirus has hit a lot of families very hard through job loss, and I think it's had an impact on hunger in our community. And so we're really excited to be able to help make a difference in addressing that food instability across the Fargo-Moorhead area.
Meals will be given out Monday through Friday through December 30th at 6 schools and 3 city parks. Check out our VNL News app or valleynewslive.com for the times and locations. Let's get our answer now to our question of the morning on Facebook. Here's today's question. Researchers revealed that the happiest people do this on a regular basis. What is it? This must be why I'm so happy. The answer, take a nap. I do love a good nap. Remember, you can play along every weekday morning by heading to our Valley News Live Facebook page. That's where we post the question for you every weekday morning. The Today Show and CBS This Morning are just about to start, but remember, the Valley Today rolls on. Join us right now for more live up-to-the-minute news and weather on the Fargo CW. Have a great day, everyone.